All right. What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. I'm your quarter host, NFL Encyclopedia, the football mind, Coach Williams, that direction, the quarterback that runs this whole thing. Trish TV, man, what's up?
What's going on? What's going on? Week one is in the books, so let's get to it.
Week one is definitely in the books, man.
Hey
It's
yo,
time is ticking. Time is ticking. Teams better make adjustments. They start making adjustments now. Down below. The defensive mind, the angry. Oh well, he. I'm gonna let him explain the angry 8-8 stuff to you. But Pando 316, what's up, man?
hey, it's Rose Week. If you know, you know. I like to say, I send a shout out to my favorite Rose, Miss Portia A. Austin. That's my girl. That's my baby girl. I love you. But yeah, let's get into this football.
So that Rose thing sound like a sorority thing, but okay, I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. If you a symphonian, you know what a rose is. And
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I had to shout out my favorite Rose. So
Mm. Anyway, all right. So, what's up, E? Uh, we've had some contracts, um, extensions, and renewals since the last time we were on. Three of them to be exact. Defensive end Nick Bosa got a contract extension, $34 million a year. Joe Burrow is now the highest paid NFL player in NFL history at quarterback for 54 million a year.
I thought you had it pulled up already.
I don't. And
Uh,
then that's on me. And then Chris Jones today got a 1 year contract worth up to $25 million. I had a feeling that was going to happen because he was in the press box with the Kansas City Chiefs brass. So I said, they're gonna get something done. They're not gonna keep that's they're not gonna have him keep holding out much longer. So I'm not surprised it happened today.
I'm gonna tell
So
you, I have a theory about that, but I'm gonna let you finish.
gentlemen, let's talk about these three contracts. E, go ahead and get started. Go for it.
So I want to go ahead and start with the lesser contract. It's the what up, Don? I want to start with the lesser contracts. I want to talk about the Chris Jones contract.
Okay, let's go ahead.
One year, 25 million, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, worth up to 25 million.
Worth up to. So it's not really 25 million. He's gonna get incentives, correct?
Yes.
So if he hits all of those marks, he'll get that. So
Yes.
this is my thought process on that. The Chiefs know that there's a lot of money for that they're paying or going to have to eventually pay Patrick Mahomes. They got to stay viable contenders. They realized last week that they needed him. So I was like, okay, we got to get something done. So look here, this is what we're going to do, Chris. We're going to give you 25 up to 25 million this year. Meanwhile, we're going to work on a long-term deal for you. Now, that's what they were probably saying to him when they were meeting. After Chris left the office, they like, okay, look, here, go ahead and start looking at all of the defensive tackles in college football. Check the free agent market for next year. Look at the defensive tackles. Find me somebody who's not going to be 30 when it's July next year. And we can probably get them for a longer term deal for a lot less money. If we cannot, then we'll go ahead and maybe franchise Chris, or we can go ahead and sign him to a semi-long-term deal, maybe 3 years tops, because again, he's on the other side of 30. You know, in the NFL, 30 is ancient. Once you get on past that 30 hump, it's like that. So that's my theory on the rationale for the 1 year contract and not a long-term deal. Like what they, like what Nick Bosa got, previous years what Aaron Donald got. And that's not to say that Chris Jones is a bad player, because they are going to need him. They showed that they needed him against the Lions this week. Okay, I mean this past week, they were kind of vulnerable up the middle.
Right.
So he needs to be there. And he's back in camp and he's with them now. And I think I really think it was kind of an anomaly, the Chiefs loss. It's a little bit of both. The Lions being better than we think they actually are, and a little bit of the Chiefs being an anomaly. So
Well, if they're gonna be looking for a defensive tackle in the draft, and Tristan would know one of the defensive tackles, because he's an LSU fan, but there's supposed to be an LSU defensive tackle coming out this year, next year possibly, and then there's one coming out of Miami, and then there's the one from Miami. His name is Leonard Taylor the third, and then the one from what I just see it, who so far is the highest rated. Oh, from Illinois. His last name is Newton. Um, so I'm sure they probably look at those three guys amongst others in the draft. Um, but they'll probably franchise tag them, but put the franchise tag because there's two different franchise tags. The exclusive and then the non-exclusive, and one of those you can still trade the player. The other one you can't trade the player. So they might trade him and try to get maybe probably won't be able to get a first round pick for him because of age, but possibly a second round pick. Definitely no later than the third. I can't see anything worse than the third, but definitely a second round pick.
yeah, there's also, like I said, that's that option too. They can franchise him and then trade him,
Yeah,
pick up some picks. So yeah,
because there's a rule that says if you lose a player that's a 10-year vested veteran or longer or play longer, then when you lose him, the only thing you can gain is a fifth round compensatory pick unless he's a quarterback, and you're gonna want way more than just a fifth round pick because that you won't even get that till 2025, and that's nothing. So unless you just happen to hit on that pick, but good luck to you.
Tristan, Chris Jones, what's your thoughts?
It's kind of I kind of share the same sentiments as you did, Eric. I think they're looking at we're gonna lace this with incentives. They probably expect him to hit all of his incentives, and I think it just either one is buying them time to figure out a long term deal because they do have the option of tagging him after this season as well. So you're either buying time for a long term deal or you're buying time to find his replacement. But they know they need him this season if they want to do anything as far as repeating for a championship. So you had to get him in the building at least for this year, and it gives them time to figure out what they want to do after.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, like I said, they like we do know we need him, but do we want him long term? I think that sentence that I just said is a microcosm of Kansas City's deal that they gave him.
Yeah, and see, my thing is, I mean, at 29, to me, I mean, 29 is not bad. I don't know how many years Chris Jones really won it, and I don't. Well, of course, we're never gonna find that out unless somebody just happened to leak that report later on. But I think a 3-year contract probably would have been feasible, but then I guess that would have crammed up the money into salary. I mean, to salary cap space. So that's probably the reason why they didn't do it. But I feel like a 3-year deal would have been a fair deal. The first 2 years would have been front loaded, and then third year you probably just be able to get out of it.
Well,
Yeah,
don't
but you don't want to get tied to that because like
exactly.
Eric said, he's in his 30s. You just don't want to be tied up to that when that money can go somewhere else. You can get a stout defensive tackle from the
That's true.
draft. You can do there's a lot of different things you can do.
That's
So
true.
you at least for this year, even possibly next year, he'll still be playing at an all pro level. But that could be possibly it, and then he'll just be average after that. You don't want to be locked into that. You want to have the option to either free him, let him do his thing, because you've already got two chips. So you could free him, let him do his thing, or you could hold him for one more prime year of him, and then free him and let him do his thing. As far as when you get high profile players like that, all pros like that, what's the end game? What's the goal? It's to win the championship. All
Of
right, you
course.
got you got two of them bad boys. So they're not losing anything by letting him go. He served his purpose, but they do feel that they have a chance to repeat this year. So you had to do something to get him back this
Of
year
course.
while he's still arguably the best D tackle in football. But after that, he might not be.
And also, you can go younger and cheaper. So you don't want to be tied to him with a long-term contract when you may be able to find somebody younger who's right up on his level of
Because,
ability.
because I'm gonna tell you right now, you know who gonna be due for a payday? That middle linebacker they got, Nick Bolton.
Yeah,
That's
he's
He's
true.
gonna
he's
be
That
due
is
he's
for a
true.
payday.
he's a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a dog. Yeah,
How's what's his name looking at defensive end? George Kalauskas.
Kaloptisk. I can't say his name.
He's okay. I mean, outside of Chris Jones, that defensive line is average.
It really
Chris
is.
Jones is what makes everything go, except for Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton he's a man all by himself, but there's
Right.
really nobody else on that defense. I'm like, they're gonna get a big payday. Like if anybody else gets a big payday outside of Nick Bolton, it's because Chris Jones made them better.
Definitely. So speaking of someone who basically makes the rest of his D line get better, let's move on to talking about Nick Bosa's contract. Um, it took John Lynch long enough. Actually, it messed up one of my picks this past week because I made the pick with the assumption that he was not going to play because John Lynch was taking too doggone long. But Nick Bosa signs a 5-year deal for 170 million.
34
Okay,
million a year.
on average, 34 million a year. This year's cap hit is negligible because his cap hit actually before he signed his deal was 17 million. It's 11.
That's good. It came down.
It created cap space. 2024 to be 14. It'll be 20 in 2025, and we got to remember that the cap still moves up. So
Exactly.
it's his first these first 3 years of this 5-year deal is like you're really not. It's not a whole lot, you know. It doesn't really get serious until he's 29, and it's 2026. He'll be 29 years old, and he gets up to be about 42 million. But who knows what the cap is going to look like then, you know.
Well, for all these
Who knows
TV
what Nick?
deals.
Who knows what Nick Bosa gonna look like then?
And also that, you know.
Well,
But
before these TV deals and stuff, and there's some stadium renovations coming up and new stadiums coming up. There's some salary cap is really great to take off over these next 10 years.
now watch this. After 2026, they have an option on his deal to void the other 2 years of his contract and only take 16 million in cap space for dead cap. So they can get out of his contract in the last 2 years of his deal, which is the heavy end of his deal. They backloaded his deal. So like just kudos to the front office, the capologist that works there. I cannot pronounce the gentleman's name, Parag. That wasn't John Lynch. It wasn't John Lynch. It was Parag. The way that they drew this deal up and made Nick happy, and it also didn't have the Niners stuck with him for 5 years on a 50 million dollar a year contract. Now, let's say he still plays at a high level at that point. Okay, pay the man. We already got him under contract. He's pretty much a 49er for the better part of his career. But by the time he walks out of San Francisco, he maybe have his better days behind him. So while he's in his prime, he's a Niner. So the way they drew that deal up, it cleared up a lot of cap space for them this year. It made him happy, and he's back. So it's a pretty good deal. It's setting the market. Now I can tell you a gentleman who is extremely happy, besides Nick Bosa, about this deal, and that is one Mr. Micah Parsons. When Micah Parsons saw that deal, he was like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." They need to investigate.
You
No,
saw
they don't. Ain't no
you saw the
investigating need to be
performance he
done.
put. You
They don't
saw
need
the
to.
performance he
It's
put
called knowing how
on.
to do. It's called. Hold on, Tristan. It's called knowing how to do math. That's what that is. Okay.
They have
I just
capologists
broke
for
the
the stuff.
contract down.
They got capologists for the stuff, man. They
Yeah,
do.
it's called knowing how to work the cap and not being dumb about it like a lot of other teams. Right now, the 49ers currently have 42 million in cap space. Right now. Now I ain't talking about next year. I'm talking about right now. I know. Okay, it was a joke, but hey, you know, I didn't broke the contract down, so that's what it is. And we're gonna get to Joe Burrow's contract in a minute too, and how his is broken down. Cincinnati didn't do too bad the way they drew this one up. Their capologist did pretty good too. Tristan,
I was gonna say you gotta remember you were right saying about Michael Parsons and look at the performance he had on Sunday. So he already right in stride, like, yeah, y'all about to pay me this money.
absolutely.
He's looked at right now as probably the favorite this year of being defensive player of the year. So they already know Jerry gonna have to put a blank check for the boy.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what? Before you came on in the green room, Tristan, I was telling Eric, I said that's another defensive man that people not even talking about.
that's all
And I
right.
know Brian Burns is looking for new money too, but Hassan Reddick, the way his contract is structured, they can get out of the contract now. I doubt Philadelphia will want to just get out of his contract or just straight up trade him. However, I'm sure he's going to want more money, and so I see Hassan Reddick asking for more money this coming off season as well.
If he has a season like he had last year, because
Yeah.
honestly, he was probably the third best pass rusher in the league last year. Miles Garrett kind of took a step back, and I think he's regaining his form this year. That's nothing on Miles Garrett, but last year it was Nick Bosa, it was Mike Parsons, and then it was Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick was a whole dog last year. He was probably the third best pass rusher in the league, and I'm still mad at Kyle Shanahan for trying to get the backup tight end to block him 1-on-1. That's how Brock Purdy got hurt. So
That
I'm
never
not letting
have
that go.
never have a tight end block or defensive
A
defensive
backup
lineman.
tight end at that. A backup. You're gonna have him go down there. It wasn't a chip. It was a one-on-one block against us. Hassan Reddick threw that boy into the third row of the bleachers and proceeded to tear Brock Purdy's elbow out the frame. And I'm just like, who called that dumb shit? Like, who called it? Shanahan.
Never
Oh,
have a
I
tight end
digress.
block a defensive
Let's talk.
lineman, man. That's one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah, that was a dumb call. But let's talk about Joe Burrow's contract
Okay.
because yeah, this was actually a well drawn up contract.
No, it was. It really was.
Deserves every penny.
And
$55 million
before all
a
the
year.
Ravens fans come on here talking about he ain't do nothing, da da da. Yes, he had a bad week, but don't think for one moment that's gonna be the norm with Joe Burrow. Okay?
If anybody think that's gonna be the norm, man, you don't know football. I'm sorry.
Right.
No, if
Shoot.
anybody going to think that's going to be the normal, they didn't watch last season. Didn't his first game last season he started off with 3 picks? Where did the Bengals end up last year?
I'm sure quarterbacks. I'm sure every single Hall of Fame quarterback in the past has had a few bad games. They were never perfect throughout their career. Joe Montana probably had a bad game. Aikman probably had a bad game. Marino had a bad game. So forth and so on. It happens.
Yeah, so but yeah, it's people. Oh, they didn't pay them all this money, and that's what irritates me about most fans. Yes, the name of this podcast is Just a Fan, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Most fans are not very smart.
We are
And,
different fans.
yeah, and we go everything we say gets vetted with facts. So that's what we do on this podcast. But but Joe Burrow, da da da, they didn't pay him all this money. Now he sucks, man. Hey man, it's week 1. I made a post on social media like a couple of days ago. I think it was like, if your team won, calm down. If your team lost, calm down. It's just week 1. Okay. So like now you start stacking together losses, then yeah, well, you need to worry. Or you start putting together wins. First of all, vet who you beating, because you could be beating JV teams. I'm gonna get into schedules, talking about some of these contending teams and their week schedules early on. But it's week 1. Enjoy the football and calm down. Your team is not going to Super Bowl. You don't know that from week 1. Your team is not going to not make the playoffs. You don't know that from the loss you took week 1. Just
Hey,
relax.
hey, hold on real quick. Let me just answer this question real quick. Hey, I'm assuming your name is pronounced Angel. So we redid our picks last week, so you had to catch last week's show to see who we picked, who we chose to win the NFC North. We also did a show
Running back. Huh?
back in the spring
We all
of
picked the Lions to win the North. That because I'm the chronicler. I keep the receipts. This is my
okay.
receipt book right here.
Well,
I keep the
okay.
receipt.
Well, he just told you, so you don't have to worry about watching
Yeah.
the show
You
now.
can go back and watch that show. You can go back and watch it. We want you to, but what up, Titus? But
Actually, and actually watch as many shows as you want to, and place the like button
I
and
dropped my
share it.
pen again. I ain't get another pen. Hold on. Okay. But yeah, um, we
Burrow
we like Detroit. And Detroit is already starting off in the right direction. Um,
by beating Kansas City.
that's a big win. That was a big win.
Who they play this week?
They play Jacksonville. That's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna get into my picks later. Let's not.
Man, that is another good one. Yeah, we're gonna talk about. We talk about it.
So Joe Burrow's deal on at 2023, he's only gonna make 19.5, so it's not hurting him. The next year is 29.7. Still not a big deal, not for a quarterback. That's gonna give them a little leeway in Cincinnati to
But
possibly re-sign Jamar Chase.
oh, it will. It will.
The word around the campfire is that they're not going to see about trying to extend T. Higgins. So that's a whole nother conversation. That wide receiver market this coming off season is about to be ignorant.
Crazy.
I didn't hear that about T. Higgins.
Yeah.
I heard it about Boyd. They
So I
said
heard.
Boyd was gonna be the odd man out.
Okay, so Boyd is a little bit. He's more of a third tier guy, but Higgins is a second tier guy, and he's actually a very good receiver. But
I think the only reason why they would, if they wouldn't extend him or they let him test the free agent market is because they respect him at that he would probably be WR1 on a lot of other people's teams, and they want him to get that shine of being a wide receiver one. That's
Well,
the
I tell
only
you
reason
what.
I can see it because I know that's been talked about many times in their camp that they got two ones, but they
Well, I
know
tell,
all the attention goes to Jamar Chase. So if that's the case, I could see them saying, "Hey, we know that you're really a wide receiver one. We want you to go out there, go get your bag for whoever's going to take you. We're going to miss you, but we want you to go ahead and get your bag because
well, I tell you,
you could easily put Boyd at two behind Chase and find another receiver in the draft.
this is true.
and that's true. And if Higgins does hit the market, and he really is a WR1. If you're a team like, and I'm just using them as an example. If you need a wide receiver, Arizona could sign him, draft Caleb
Arizona need a
Williams.
team.
Hold on. Draft Caleb Williams and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. You got yourself a quarterback and two wide receivers off the rip.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
just
I'm
as
just
long
throwing
as
it
they
out
don't.
there.
I just
I'm not
don't
saying it's
I
going to
don't
Hey,
happen.
I
this
just
this
don't trust Arizona because they don't know how to treat their players. I mean, this is
Hey,
like years. This
hey,
is
hey,
years now.
hey, listen. I understand. I just threw it out there as an example.
I'm gonna just say this: as long as he doesn't get Alvin Harper syndrome, that's a real
Peerless
disease.
price. Peerless price.
You're right.
The Alvin Harper syndrome is: are you a number two receiver on a contending team? Are you a free agent?
You're right. But
You have the symptoms of Alvin Harper syndrome. When you
I think
become a
T
wide
Higgins is
receiver,
a I think T Higgins is a legit one. I think it's like the Calvin Ridley effect. Like when Calvin Ridley got drafted to Atlanta, Julio was there, but you saw Calvin Ridley, you're like, bro, he's really a number one on everybody else's team in the league. Like you could tell, it's the same thing with T Higgins. It's just like it's a different animal to Jamar Chase, but it's still just as dangerous. So I feel like most teams that don't have a legit number one, i.e., like the Arizona Cardinals, i.e., really the Rams, because I don't know why they think Cooper Cup is a legit number one, but he's not.
They just
Cooper
throw him
Cup's
the
just a
ball
really
like he's a
good.
good route runner.
That's he's a good route runner. He's not a legit number one. So those teams, there's a lot of teams that are like, hey, I could use a T Higgins.
And Mike Evans might not be back in Tampa Bay, so and I don't know what's gonna happen with Chris Godwin in the future,
I don't
but
think it's a might. I really don't think it's a might. If you really want to, and we've gotten off on a tangent here. We really kind of went off the rails, but um, I don't think Mike Evans is going to finish the season in Tampa Bay. I think he's going to be moved before the trade deadline.
it wouldn't surprise me.
That's realistically what I'm
It
thinking.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yo, I think he'll be moved before the trade deadline.
I think John Fratello get traded before trade deadline.
Yeah, but getting back to what I was saying about the deals, the cap hits for Joe Burrow. So we got lost my place. Yeah, 11. I'm sorry.
That's 19, 29, and then 46.
Okay, yeah. 19, 29, 46, 48. Still not bad.
The thing is
2027, 50, 52.2. Still not bad.
You know what? I'm looking at the ages and stuff. If they can keep him healthy, some of that stuff is going to get put onto a credit card, or they might extend him out.
Restructure.
Yeah, restructure. Thank you.
Restructure.
Well, when I said when I said put on a credit card, I was meaning restructure. But or they can give him another extension, and then because that's another way to lower the cap hit. But the salary cap is still, and the salary cap is still rising, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works. What year was that? 2025? No, yeah, 25. So that's a couple off seasons. That's what, 2 off seasons from now. So we'll see what that looks like.
But yeah, I think he's gonna show up and show out.
Of
he had
course.
a rough week. He had a rough week last week. But
who's Cincinnati play this week?
Hold on, man. We gonna get to that. You messing up the flow, man. We gonna get to the games and we gonna talk about that. But we talking about having a rough week at quarterback. I'm trying to do my segue here.
Yeah, because somebody
no other quarterback had a rougher week than one Mr. Aaron Rodgers last night. I mean, tore his Achilles tendon, out for the year. It's tragic because realistically, the only thing the Jets were missing was competent quarterback play. You got the weapons, you've got 2 beasts of running backs, your defense is balling out, and now you got to go back to Zach Wilson.
And Aaron Rodgers only played 4 games. I mean, 4 plays.
4 snaps.
And the thing is, see, when you tear your Achilles or your ACL, unless your rehab is fantastic, you're looking at a 12-month rehab. Plus we just finished week 1 of the season, so he might start off on the PUP list next year or short-term injury reserve, which means he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the regular season next year. There's a possibility of that happening.
So I got even better question. Is this the end for Aaron Rodgers? Because he's not a spring chicken.
You know, I think Trisha talked about it a little bit in the Marco Polo last night. He said he don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out like that. And I think I would agree because he's going to want to he has that ego, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but he has that ego to say, hey, look, I know I got hurt. I don't want to retire off of this. I want to retire kind of like on top. Now, maybe not, of course, it may not be a Super Bowl top, but it's at least maybe like, hey, look, I won the MVP again. Now I can retire. I showed everybody I can come back, and now I'm MVP.
Tristan, what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me back this up. Let me backpedal this up because I feel like we need to talk about the gravity of this for Jets fans. So I'm going to kind of illustrate the picture. When I watched the game last night when it started, and you see Aaron Rodgers coming out there with the flag in his hand, and you see when Aaron Rodgers first steps on the field to go to do the first series, and you hear the crowd, you just feel the energy. Now, everybody knows, everybody that watch the show, and y'all know, I'm not a Jets fan, but I am a fan of great players. Whether you like him or not, Aaron Rodgers is one of the all-time great players. And for all the hype, I watched all of Hard Knocks. I watched all the off season. I read all the things from the Jets because I wanted to see how this was going to look with Aaron Rodgers. And for all of that to happen, and then 4 snaps in, he goes down like that. And I knew it was the Achilles immediately. I ain't no doctor, so let me put that out there. I ain't no doctor. I ain't never took no medical degree. The first thing I ever got was high school health class. I don't know nothing. I don't put me in brain surgery. Okay. The only reason I know a couple words because I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy. Okay. So understand that the only reason why I knew it was his Achilles is because that same ripple that happened on his leg when they showed the replay, it was the same ripple that was on Kevin Durant's leg when he tore his Achilles. It's that same kind of pop, and you just see the ripple of that leg. And that's why I was like, it's his Achilles. And I'm like, y'all not gonna tell me no different? It's the Achilles because I know what that thing looks like because I was so devastated when Kevin Durant got hurt. Understand for the Jets fans. Let me put this in perspective that people don't know, people that don't know the history of the Jets. I know the history of the Jets. In 1991, Vinny Testaverde
From the U.
tore his Achilles in the first game of that season. After they just came off a season where they were in the AFC Championship, they were favored to win the Super Bowl that following year, and Vinny Testaverde tore his Achilles trying to recover a fumble. Anyone could look it up on YouTube. Keyshawn Johnson had his infamous post game conference about that because he was on the team at the time.
Wait, hold on. You said 91?
91.
No,
It was 91. It's either 91 or going into 92.
because Keyshawn wasn't there 91, 92.
Go look at it. It's either going in 91 or 92
Keyshawn
season.
Johnson was drafted the same year, if I'm not mistaken, as T.O.
Go
No,
look at it.
I don't
He
think
was
so.
not. Go look at it. Keyshawn was drafted number 1 overall.
Hold on.
Go watch it. I'm telling you what I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you calmly. But we fast forward from there, and we have Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington
Oh man.
tore his shoulder up. Where everyone in the time where it looked like they were starting to get some stuff working together, and he was starting to make some headway. Tore his shoulder up, kept tearing that shoulder up and that elbow. It was never the same. Fast forward again, we're dealing with okay, we might possibly have Mark Sanchez. We're thinking Mark Sanchez might be the guy. Back to back AFC Championship games, all that stuff. Tore his rotator cuff that following year after the second AFC Championship appearance. Tore his shoulder, and then his play just declined afterwards. He was never the same. Then they went and go get Brett Favre. Then they thinking everything all steam ahead with Brett Favre. Brett Favre tears his tricep. It's always been something at that quarterback position for the Jets.
I have a point of
to
order.
see-
I have a point of order, gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Keyshawn Johnson was drafted in 1996. which
Same
is
year
the same
T.O.
year as Terrell Owens. The same
Well,
year.
then it was probably 90.
Because I remember because Testaverde was there. With
Well, then
Bill
it probably had to be
Parcells.
I don't argue with Brandon on stuff like that. That's why I had to
It
look it
probably
up.
had to be
Brandon is
97.
sure about it. I'm like, nah.
Well, no, it probably had to be 97 then. It probably had to be 97.
Okay,
But
now, I'm not gonna know exactly what year until I look at it, but I know Keyshawn and T.O. were drafted the same year with Joe Horn, I think Eric Modes, and I'm missing a couple more wide receivers. That's big name.
Yeah, I kind of figured it like Brandon's like, nah, he came out 96. I was like, you know what? I'm not finna down this hill when it comes to stuff like that. Brandon is like a football encyclopedia, man.
Testaverde, hold on. Give me a second. and I
But
hear
anyway,
you.
going back to my story.
Go ahead.
Anyways, what I'm saying is there's always something that goes on with the quarterback position for the Jets.
Yeah, no,
So for all that to transpire, and then you come in and you're like, okay, we got a four-time MVP guy. Have all the pieces. You did everything you were supposed to do. Correct. He came in. He was in OTAs. He was at training camp. Mentored everybody. He did everything he was supposed to do. You got all the pieces that you wanted to get, and four plays in, and he's out. That is devastation. That's one of the more devastating things to happen. I put it up there with Derrick Rose tearing his knee. I put it up there with Andrew Luck retiring. I put it up there with RG3 re-injuring his knee in the playoff game against the Seahawks when we were up 14-0. Like those are moments where it's just like, yo, what are you like? The football guys just don't like the Jets, and you
basically,
have to you
they
have to
did.
consider his you have to consider the fact that a part of his brain is going to think about retirement. Now, what's the saving grace is that it wasn't on his right leg; it was his left leg. So it wasn't on his planning foot. That's the one saving grace he could kind of go with.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but you still got to step into that throw, man.
I feel like you have to step into that throw, but that back foot is where all that power is coming from,
Oh yeah, of
and I
course.
feel like
Yeah, of course.
you can salvage a little off that left leg, in order to make the throws he need to make, and a lot of times he kind of does them off platform, so he probably could get away with it, but it's 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 tragic as a sports fan, and then it's a ripple effect because not only do the Jets got to deal with Zach Wilson at quarterback, you got five primetime games that were geared because they thought Aaron Rodgers was going to quarterback for this team.
Yeah.
Green Bay thinking they're going to get a first round pick now turns into a second round pick because he had to play 65% of his snaps in order for Green Bay to get the first round pick from the Jets. So now that's a second round pick. So there's a whole ripple effect that this comes through now.
Of course.
So it's pretty tragic. As a sports fan, that it was heartbreaking to watch that. And
But
then what made it worse, if you're a fan, I'm sorry, I know I kind of took over on this thing.
no, you go, you go,
If
you
you're
go.
a fan of the Jets, I mean, yes, you won the game, but it's a mixed bag of emotions because in my mind, as I'm seeing them keep playing, in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, well, how good would this have been with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh,
Like that's how I looked
it'd
at
been
it.
a blowout.
It was
The way the Jets defense was playing last night,
it should have been a
creating all those
blowout.
turnovers, it would have been if Aaron Rodgers would have played, he would have capitalized on every last one of those turnovers they got. They would have scored probably touchdowns at the very least field goals on every last one of those turnovers.
And I do
So
want to
yeah,
address this one. Yeah, I do want to address this one comment because Eric James was saying that if he was the only one that sees a really cruel and ironic karma, I honestly don't look at this as a karma thing because your job when you become a professional, especially at the quarterback position, is to win a championship. He did
Yes,
that for Green Bay, albeit I know it was well over a decade ago. I get that, but he won a championship for them, and every year from then it was always a conversation if Green Bay could possibly get back to it. But you knew the Green Bay was going to be in the playoffs. You did not give this man a first round
wide
skill
receiver.
position player in his entire not even wide receiver, just a skilled
No,
player.
I get it. I get it because
It's like you can't. There's no karma to. I would be disgruntled too after a while. It's just like, and then you trade back into the first round to draft my replacement. So yeah, I'm gonna drop two more MVPs on your tail after that. Like
no,
there's nothing of this that could be a karma move because he did what he was supposed to do as a Green Bay quarterback. You didn't try to take his advice and try to invest in it. So now we got to move on. And he moved on. He didn't batch any ill will towards Green Bay, the fans, his players. He even brought some of his players along with him.
sure
Like
did.
he moved on and wanted to do something with the Jets, and the Jets basically gave him the franchise. And he's been a model citizen from the moment he stepped in that building. So I don't look at it as a karma thing. I feel like it's just really unfortunate that it had to happen like that. And now not only the Jets organization or Jets fans, but us as football fans don't get to watch this when we were all anticipating for it.
I mean, let's
Basically, um, they said that his first player that he threw a touchdown pass to that was drafted in the first round was tight end Mercedes Lewis, who was drafted by Jacksonville, who was a longtime Jaguar who ended up in Green Bay in his 30s. That was his first football play he threw a touchdown to that was drafted in round one, and that's sad.
so we're looking forward, looking not forward, but looking ahead at the backlash from the Aaron Rodgers injury. Uh, it completely changes the face of this race in the AFC East because they were the clear cut favorites to win this division, excuse me.
Yes,
And right now, in my opinion, I think it's Miami's division to lose right now
yes, yes,
because of this injury. Because going back to talking about how the Jets perform, you got a running game, you have a championship level defense. However, you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback, and you have Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator.
and Nathaniel Hackett and Tristan, Eric and I talked about this too before you hit the green room, before we went live. Nathaniel Hackett worked with EJ Manuel in Buffalo and Blake Bortles in Jacksonville.
Busting
I
butts
know he worked with Aaron Rodgers, but we knew what Aaron Rodgers was before he started working with Aaron Rodgers. He did not develop either one of those two quarterbacks.
because he can't.
He basically made his bones off of being the offensive coordinator for Aaron Rodgers, and we all know that was all Aaron Rodgers doing.
Yeah,
So
He's
Aaron
Adam
Rodgers,
Gase 2.0.
Yeah, that's it.
hey,
I couldn't figure out his last name. I was like, it's Adam G, and I
Adam
want to call
Gase
him.
2.0. So
Yeah,
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 so
basically.
and I'm gonna give you an example of what we're talking about here. Why the Jets, and I'm sorry, Jets fans, but this is the reality of it. You basically have a lame duck offensive coordinator because I'm just gonna use Monday night's game as an example. You basically had a Buffalo defense that was struggling to stop Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall. Okay, your defense is playing lights out almost, and you lose Aaron Rodgers. You know, Wilson is a liability. You
Behind
know
a bad offensive line too.
behind you have a bad offensive line. Also, you have a quarterback who's now a liability. So what's going on is you got to play safe football. You were only down by 7 points. Now, granted, they won the game. I know somebody's gonna be, but they won the game. Da, 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 da. But Zach Wilson threw a touchdown. Did you really look at that touchdown that he threw? If it were not for the awesomeness of Garrett Wilson,
Yeah, Garrett
that
Wilson
was an
played defense and
interception.
offense at the same time.
That was an interception. But you putting up the game on Zach Wilson's back coming off the bench when the play should have been, okay, let's play control football. We're only down by 7. Let's run the ball. Let's play some defense. Let's do some high percentage passes, screens. They started doing that at first, but then at one point he had Zach Wilson taking 5 and 7 step drops behind that offensive line. So you got a quarterback who's a liability behind an offensive line that's a liability. Where they do that at? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm gonna get on the Josh Allen situation because he definitely contributed. He was more the quarterback for the Jets than Aaron and Zach. So but we'll get into that later though.
I mean,
But
we
the
can talk
point
about
I'm
Josh
making
Allen
is,
because I mean, this guy to me is overrated. But let's finish over Aaron Rodgers.
but the issue is because we've already talked about his injury. We're talking about the fallout from it. I can say moving forward, but it's the fallout from it. There are going to be some games that the Jets would have won going away that they're going to lose. And it's tragic for the defense because that defense is well put together and well coached. What's going to happen, you mark my words, there are going to be some games where the defense is going to keep them in it, but after turnover after punt after turnover after punt after turnover, the defense is going to get gassed toward the end of those games, and they're going to end up eventually giving up the score and the lead in the game because it's through no fault of their own, but they're going to be out there. The other teams are going to have huge times of possession. It's going to be a big shift. It's going to be time of possession going to look like this. It's not going to even be close because the defense is going. They're going to start off on fire. They're going to keep the team in it. They may get a couple of turnovers here and there because, again, that defense is legit for the Jets. But because of the ineptitude of the play calling and the offensive line and who they have playing quarterback for them right now, they're going to lose a lot of games they should win. Bottom line.
I listen. I would even say the lion's share of the blame is going to go to Nathaniel Hackett. The
Absolutely.
reason why I say that is because one, we talked about it all off season about that offensive line, so we knew what we was in for with that. Two, there's enough film about on Zach Wilson that we know who he is.
Exactly.
So the lion's share of this blame, when these games that Eric's talking about going arise, is Nathaniel Hackett, because now you got to really be a coordinator. You have to play to the strength of Zach Wilson, and we don't. Your record, your career as a coordinator and as a head coach says you can't outside of Aaron Rodgers being your quarterback.
I mean, he just came off of being fired from Denver after ruining Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
So,
And the thing is, he didn't finish the season.
no, he was bad.
Yeah,
He's
it
bad.
was
He's
that
bad. He's bad. And somebody's gonna have to make an executive decision, pull rank. I'm hoping Robert Saleh does so. He's a defensive minded coach, but I hope he pulls rank and says, hey, don't call that. What are you doing? No. Okay. It's third and 20. I don't want him dropping back. Throw a screen pass and let the defense get it back for us. If the screen pops, because you do have Dalvin Cook, you do have Brees Hall, that type of thing. If it pops, great. If it doesn't, we'll punt and we'll play some defense. And we'll try to win the game, I don't know, 10-3. Like that.
You gonna have to for the rest of the season.
Jets fans, that's your only hope right now.
Yeah,
the fact that you have two really good running backs and you have an outstanding defense.
If you try to get into a shootout, forget it.
Yeah. If they get down by a lot of points, it's done. It's done. So, I hate to say that because, man, there was a lot of promise. There was a lot of promise with the Jets this year. But, yeah, that injury may have derailed their entire season. And it's going to be I hate seeing a great defense being wasted because that defense is legit.
Especially that defensive line, man.
Oh, man. They
drafted that defensive end from Iowa State, Will McDonald.
Yeah, they got it going on.
They got it going on a lot.
Yeah. But speaking of which, let's talk about the games coming up this week. It's time for Pando's picks. So if you look in the corner of the screen, I'm pointing the wrong way. Yeah, you look at the corner of the screen, I says I'm angry 8-8. Just FYI for people who haven't been watching, who've never watched before, or just starting to watch, folks, that was my record for my picks last week. Also, just FYI, this is the worst record I've had for a week since I've been on this show. So my worst record is 500. So I'm upset because I'm 8-8 because I'm better than that, but it's also a flex letting you know that I don't go under. Okay. I'm upset and flexing at the same time. My worst record is 8-8. Okay. So there's a couple of picks I made last week before some people got signed and that changed the complexion of some games. So people came off of the injury list and they made things better. So, hey, but let's get into the picks for week 2. So starting off the week, I have the Vikings at the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. The Vikings just lost to Tampa Bay.
Kirk Cousins is the quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. The Eagles struggled a little bit against New England more than they should have, but they pulled the game out. I'm looking for the Vikings defense is not as good as it was. I'm looking for Jalen Hurts to Jalen Hurt the Vikings. Okay, so give me the Eagles over the Vikings. Next game, give me the Packers over the Falcons. Okay. There was a lot of ATL people talking noise after they beat Carolina. I'm like, bro, you beat Carolina. Stop. Stop it. Stop it right now. Okay. Jordan Love is starting to show that he looks like the real deal from preseason into this first week. He's got a really good rapport going on with his wide receivers now.
And that's good.
And especially him and Romeo Dobbs. They really got like a whole thing going. It's like, man, they could probably finish each other's sentences. They're looking good. The defense is playing good enough. Aaron Jones is still there. So yeah.
With AJ Dillon as a backup.
And you have AJ Dillon as a backup. So I like Green Bay over the Falcons. I look for them to go into not the Atlanta Dome, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and do them dirty. So do the dirty birds dirty. Give me the Bills over the Raiders. I think the Bills are going to bounce back. Are they as good as they were last year? No. But are they better than the Raiders? Yes. Okay.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Bills lose to the Raiders. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you it's only one reason. It ain't got nothing even to do with the play on the field. When I heard Josh Allen's post game last night, I said, "Oh, the Bills are in trouble."
What
When
he say?
he said, same stuff, different day, saying that he knew he cost his team the game, and he said it's the same bad feeling that he had last year, felt like that to this on that game. If you're bad juju from last year, you feel the same way in the first game of the year, y'all in trouble. That means something mentally is happening in your head
Hey,
that
man.
you're not able to
He's
shake.
breaking apart.
I hear what
Yeah.
you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Tristan. This the Raiders, man.
Hey, but listen,
Listen, man.
Hey.
Listen what
Hold
I'm
on,
telling you.
just wait. Eric, what did I say last week about quarterbacks who become mentally weak?
Carson Wentz, yeah.
Okay, so my thing is Trisha might be onto something with this.
I'm telling you, man.
I hear you. I hear you when you say the Raiders. I do. I really do.
I
I'm
do
not
too.
knocking that. However,
There is not a player on their roster that can cover Stephon Diggs.
I understand
Not one.
that. But
Listen, but
if Josh Allen throws
if Josh Allen can't get him the ball,
if Josh Allen
listen,
turns
man.
the ball over, you can't keep turning the ball over.
So wait,
times a game.
hold on, because I need to get the rest of my picks.
No. I know that. We're gonna get there. We got time. What I'm trying to tell you is this: you can't keep turning the ball over 3 or 4 times a game, and just keep expecting to win. I don't care who you're playing.
And this was against the Jets, who had a great defense.
I understand that, but Josh
watched
Allen is falling
game.
apart.
I watched the game.
Josh Allen made the Jets play great defensively. Josh Allen made boneheaded decisions.
So let me condense the nonsense right quick. Are y'all picking the Raiders over the Bills?
No one said that. I said don't be shocked. I just don't want to hear you saying I can't believe this happened because I'm telling you now.
I'm not gonna say that. That's where y'all got life messed up. Because I'm not gonna say that. That's what y'all like. Unless you picking the Raiders over the Bills, then we don't have a conversation here. That's it. Shop closed.
I'm just saying, don't be shocked.
Are you picking the Raiders over the Bills?
No.
Okay, then let's move on.
3 or 4 turnovers on win games.
There it is. I'm talking about straight up who gonna have more points at the end of the game. That's all I'm saying. I hear what y'all saying. I hear what you're saying about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a bloody mess. Just the damn Raiders. There it is. Okay. Moving on. All right. So next game, I have Ravens versus
Portia
Bengals.
said Raiders over the Bills.
What? Ooh! Because she's a Raiders fan. They delusional. They about as delusional as Cowboy fans. You got away with one last week. You got away with one last week, baby. That's it.
Yeah, and I actually blame Sean Payton. I don't even blame Russell Wilson.
It wasn't because the Raiders did something fantastic. And Sean Payton, he messed up. So, quit acting like they good. Stop it. Jimmy Garoppolo's your quarterback. Stop it. We could watch an interception fest. We could see that.
That is
We
true.
really could see an interception fest in this
Hey,
Ravens
that's a
Bills
good.
game.
Hey, that's a valid point. E. That's a valid
Yeah.
point.
Okay. So moving on. Ravens versus Bengals. This is I feel like this is Joe Burrow's bounce back game.
Yes.
I think
I,
so.
I think this is bounce back. Everybody was talking on Joe Burrow. They paid him all this money. Da 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 da. Okay. I think this is the game. The Bengals are at home. I think
J.K.
this is the
Dobbins is
game.
out.
Yeah. So
And Ronnie Staley.
right. So I like the Bengals over the Ravens.
I got Joe. I got Joe
Blue,
Burrow.
I don't care if you mad.
I got Joe Burrow going for 350 yards.
Marcus Clark, I don't care if you mad. Power shift in the AFC North. Well, actually, the power had already shifted, so that's a moot point. Give me the Lions over the Seahawks. The Seahawks laid an egg last week,
Yep,
which
and
was
they're gonna keep
shocking.
laying it.
I just knew the Seahawks was gonna beat the Rams.
The Cinderella of Geno Smith is over.
But I predicted that. I said the Seahawks wasn't gonna be good, but I didn't think they was gonna be that bad to lose to the Rams. I
Man,
at least thought they was gonna beat the Rams.
can you imagine them starting off 0-2, especially after? Oh God,
I can. It's highly
Yeah,
feasible.
absolutely. I absolutely can.
that's
It's
bad.
highly feasible. San
That's
Francisco
bad.
is the class of that division right now. And
The
I'm not saying
The
that 'cause-
Rams had no business winning that game.
The
I'm
Rams
not
had no
saying that
business
'cause
scoring that many points.
I'm not saying it because I'm a Niners fan. I'm literally saying San Francisco is the class of that division.
The
Period.
Rams should have scored 30
anybody will
points.
say that.
Yeah. So
That's not a 30-point roster.
I got their they gonna be in Pontiac. The blue collar gonna be out. Excuse me, I'm talking about the Rams. The Lions play just blue collar
Football.
bust you in your mouth football.
Hey,
Aiden Hutchinson is not trying to sack the quarterback. He's
He's a
trying to
man
send
child.
the
He's trying to kill
quarterback
him.
to the morgue.
Yep.
Hey, Tristan, you a Commanders fan, right?
Yep.
Detroit Lions is running one of your favorite old school plays back in the 80s, counter trade.
Counter trade. Yep.
Detroit runs that counter
That's
trade.
very blue collar. For those of y'all who understand X's and O's, that's a very blue collar play.
Counter trade. Oh my, that's about as blue collar as you're gonna get. Counter trade.
Stephen Davis used to kill people with that.
John Riggins did too back in the 80s. Matter of fact, and I know this because I heard this on TV one time. I'm sorry, E. I know you're trying to get to your picks. John Riggins used to kill the Cowboys with that.
Yeah, but the Lions, they're here. I think they're gonna outmuscle and just outmuscle the Seahawks. They're gonna will another win.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I just think they're a better team, honestly.
Yeah.
So give me the Chargers over the Titans.
Yeah.
I like the Chargers put up 34 points last week. They weren't able to close it out against Miami. The Chargers defense is a little bit suspect, but I don't think that's
a little.
The Chargers defense is a little suspect.
No, it's more than a little. It's more.
Damn it.
It's a matter of fact, it's a shame because Brandon Staley.
You the one saying the trigger words. A little. They trash.
Look, Brandon Staley. It's a shame too because he comes from the Vic Fangio tree. They were in Chicago together, and it's like Staley don't know what to do. And I'm like, yo, you was under Vic Fangio. What was you doing the whole time in Chicago?
Go ahead, Eric. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead.
Can I finish? Can I finish now?
No, Tristan got a point though.
Okay, so they suspect. Okay. But that being said, nobody's afraid of Ryan Tannehill.
At all.
Okay. So
Tannehill threw 3 interceptions.
And last time I checked, Tyreek Hill does not play for the Titans. So I think they can pull that one out against the Titans. I'm just saying.
Malik Willis, week 5.
Yeah, I think Tannehill's gonna get benched before the season's over. Yeah. So next game, I got the Bears versus the Buccaneers. Give me the Bears over the Buccaneers. The Bears are gonna have a bounce back.
They better. They better.
Because if not, boy, all of that noise they talk.
Boy. They better.
Oh, Justin Fields. Oh boy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because basically it would appear that Aaron Rodgers transferred all the shares of his ownership of the Bears to Jordan Love. That's what it looked like.
Facts.
That's what it looked like. Okay, so y'all need to show that loss was a fluke, Bears, and y'all need to come on and beat the Buccaneers, who you're clearly a better team than.
Yes.
I
Okay,
had
you
something to
need
say
to show
about the
that you're
Bears,
the
but
better team.
I'm gonna make a TikTok about the Bears so that Eric can get you the picks.
Okay. So I got Kansas City versus Jacksonville. This is another backup game. I mean, excuse me, bounce back game. Excuse me. I got Kansas City bouncing back against Jacksonville, but I think
Travis
it's
Kelsey playing?
Travis Kelsey is playing.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's probably gonna play this week.
Yeah,
Chris Jones
if he
is back.
plays, then yeah.
Chris Jones is back. Travis Kelsey is gonna probably play.
That might be a fun game to watch.
Yes.
What I'm getting, the point I'm getting at with this game, I'm thinking if you like track meets, this might be the one for you.
There's gonna be an air show.
I think it's gonna be an air show / track meet, but I think Kansas City is gonna pull it out in the end. So I like Kansas City over Jacksonville. That's no reflection on Jacksonville. I just think Kansas City is gonna get them. They're gonna go down to Duval County and beat them.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Jacksonville and Kansas City.
Okay, so Colts versus Texans. This is my way out Wild West pick. I like the Texans over the Colts.
I'm not. That's not
I
wild.
think so.
I think D'Amico Ryans gets his first win as a head coach of the Texans.
Texas.
They treating Anthony Richardson like Cam Newton already.
And Anthony Richardson he was already folded like fresh laundry in the first game. Okay, Jacksonville folded that boy like fresh laundry.
And he didn't even throw the ball bad. I don't know what they were thinking.
And they are going to ruin his career in Indianapolis. I'm telling you, they're gonna ruin all his potential. That boy, they had him later. I'm like, stop running the damn quarterback.
They said Trevor Lawrence,
please.
They said Trevor Lawrence talked to him after the game. Was like, bro, you got to protect yourself, bro. It's like the hits are different in the NFL, bro.
Somebody make me an NFL coach, please. Somebody.
So that being said, this is a D'Amico Ryans coach defense. They're going to be extremely fast, extremely physical, and they're going to make him pay for all the runs. And eventually the ball's going to boop.
Yeah, you're saying one of your safeties, Jalen Petrie, that can hit the heck out of you.
Houston is home. They're in NRG Stadium. The Houston fans are very faithful and they believe. So it's gonna be loud enough. I don't think Anthony was the case.
Snoop Dogg.
He was laid out. I was like, okay, they did DeMar Hamlin this boy. I was like, he's fine. It's just like I said, did they put him to sleep? But no, he got up. But still, it was like
the case that they gave me.
but bruh. But get to my point. The NRG Stadium is going to probably close that roof because it's as hot as the Devil's Draws in Houston. So the roof's going to be closed. That crowd is going to be loud. That's going to throw Anthony Richardson off. They're going to go to a silent count probably. But D'Amico Ryans defense is going to fly around.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to make some plays and they're going to win the game. So I got Texas over Colts. Okay. I have the Niners over the Rams. That should be self-explanatory because Sean McVay, is coaching against his daddy, Kyle Shanahan. And then the Rams defense is playing they should all just get Samuel put on the back of their jersey because, they literally made Deebo Samuel an all-pro by themselves the year he went all-pro. Okay. Just they gave most of his if you look up Deebo Samuel highlights, the majority of them are going to be against the Rams. Okay. I'm telling you right now, if you got Deebo Samuel as a fantasy player and you got Christian McCaffrey as a fantasy player, you definitely want to play them in this game. It won't even hardly be the Brock Purdy show. He's going to be just like, hey, little pitch, short pass, and just let them act a fool. Okay, because at this point, and I'm gonna take a line from Brandon. Who is on the Rams defense besides Aaron Donald? I'll wait.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that song by Keith Sweat featuring Athena Cage? Nobody.
Yeah. So I got the Niners over the Rams. This next game, this is what I would like to refer to as the toilet bowl. This is the Giants versus the Cardinals. Probably the two worst teams in the league right now.
Caleb Williams bowl, baby.
This is a pick'em game. This is my pick'em game of the week. It really don't matter who gonna win this game, and any one of them can win it. It's not gonna be about the best team winning this game. It's gonna be the who screws up the least.
They both gonna try and lose because they want
They
Caleb
gonna
Williams.
try their best. Nah, I'm gonna lose the game. Nah, I'm gonna lose the game. No, wait a minute. We ain't gonna block nobody. Yeah, but you know what? We ain't gonna tackle nobody. So that's what
Y'all
this game is
paid
gonna be.
Daniel Jones 160 million.
If you want to watch the Keystone Cops versus the Three Stooges, watch this game. If you got some grocery shopping to do, your taxes, cut your
It's
hair,
not
whatever,
tax season.
do your nails, that's the game to do it on. It
It's not
really
tax
doesn't matter,
season.
but gun to my head, I'm going to just go with the home team, and I'm going to say the Cardinals are going to win this game. But does it really
They want
matter?
Caleb Williams. They gonna
Does
try
it?
and lose.
They going to both try to lose that game. And to see Daniel Jones sit up in New York going, got you. I already signed my deal. Got you. Yeah. Oh man, he should go to jail for larceny.
Hey, look. Him and Kirk Cousins are gonna be best buddies in the Business Hall of Fame.
Man, look, art of the deal. So that's my pick'em game. This is my Stone Cold lock coming up. Give me the Cowboys versus the Jets. There is no
Yeah,
way.
there's no way. There's
There's
no way.
no, listen to me now. There's no way that Dallas should lose this game.
Because let
Zach
me tell you something.
Wilson is the damn quarterback. The
If the
offensive
Cowboys
line is a
lose,
submarine with screen doors.
if the Cowboys lose, and it's because of Dak Prescott,
Just cancel the
I'm
season.
I'm gonna be undone in that
Cancel
next
the
show.
season.
When I tell you I'm gonna be undone,
Oh, we
but I
going
don't.
ham that week. Oh, we
But
all
I
going
just
off.
I'm gonna be no. I'm gonna be so. Oh my god, it's
Now
just
watch,
not gonna be
wait,
good.
Tristan, watch this. Watch this. If if they lose this game because of Dak Prescott, which they shouldn't,
They
it ain't
shouldn't.
gonna. There's gonna be a lot of going off on this show next week, but it ain't gonna be me and you. It's gonna be Steve and
And
Brandon. And I'm
Brandon,
gonna just sit back like this.
hmm I'm gonna make sure I pop popcorn that night.
I'm just gonna be sitting like that because there's no way. You hear me? There's no way.
There's no way. There's
There's
no way.
no way they should lose that game to the
No
Jets.
way.
No
No
way.
way.
No way. We gonna talk about y'all like some dogs. Y'all lose that game. Y'all should blow the Jets off the field.
Yeah.
And
Yo,
most of those
Cowboys way
scores,
too talented. They way too talented to go against an Aaron Rodgers less Jets. No way.
most of those scores should come from the defense. I'm gonna be honest. There
Yeah.
should be at least 2 defensive touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
I'm marking it. And if you don't
Yeah.
get it, then you ain't as good as you said you are, Dallas.
I'm looking.
Y'all
I'm
should
looking
y'all
at.
should wipe the floor with the Jets.
I'm looking at a potential 3-sack game for Michael Parsons for this game
Yeah,
because that's how
he gonna
bad
get
the
more. It's gonna
offensive
get
line.
more than 2.
He
I think the
he
over under is 3,
he
and
gonna
he's gonna
eat.
probably hit it.
He gonna eat. He gonna eat.
Yeah, that line is a submarine with screen doors. That's what that line is. Okay. But moving on. But that's my Stone Cold lock of the week. Mark it. The Dallas Cowboys will wipe the floor. And they in Dallas too. Oh my God. Yeah, they at home.
Yeah, that's
They're
gonna
gonna
be a
wipe the
show.
floor with the
That's
Jets.
gonna be a show.
It's
The
not gonna be
Cowboys
a
are going.
show. It's gonna be like watching slaughtering sheep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a slaughterhouse. It's gonna be horrible. But only the downside of that is gonna be a bunch of Cowboy fans on social media talking about we going to Super Bowl because you beat 2 whack teams. Like, stop it. Moving on. Commanders versus Broncos. I like the Broncos in this one, but this one is another one that's kind of close.
Yeah, it's
It,
close.
it it's close. Because I just don't have time to elaborate on here. I think the Commanders can win this game.
I
I
believe
agree.
so too. I
I do
believe so
believe that.
too.
Um, I'm not low on Sam Howell because of his performance. I think a mixture of jitters, a mixture of that offensive line. He's got some things he's gonna clean up, but this is basically his rookie season he's playing on. Give him time to grow and grow because he if you look past some of the mistakes and look at him play, he's got the right tools. I'm talking about physically and mentally. He's got the right setup. He just needs to grow. He just got to grow up in it.
Continue to get
So
those reps.
yeah, it's going to be growing pains. You got to be patient with it. It's going to be growing pain, but he does have the right makeup to play the position. Um, and I think Eric Bieniemy is going to make some adjustments, seeing how that offensive line performed
I,
um,
and
on
I,
Sunday.
it, I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders pull this game out,
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't be shocked either.
they're in Denver. Sean Payton has turned into the new version of Bill Belichick,
Right.
the old
Yep.
mean crotchety man.
Yep.
And he's like I'm pretty sure he's reading them for filth right now as
Yep.
we speak, and they're
Yep.
gonna come out and play a lot better. Cause Sean Payton, like he
Yep.
mad at Russell Wilson for kissing babies. Like, do your job. What about kissing no babies? Get this playbook. So he's like old school. He is digging in their chest down up there in Denver.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think the Broncos gonna have their bounce back game right there too. Okay, so moving forward, I have I got the Fins over the Pats.
Yeah.
I think what we don't talk enough about, because we talk about Tyreek Hill and we talk about how well Tua Tagovailoa throws the ball and all of that, but we don't talk about how good the Dolphins defense is.
Big Fangio.
Man,
We don't
that's
we
one
don't
of
talk
the
about that.
better teams to watch on
Yeah,
in the league right now, bro.
Fangio.
That is going to be. They're going to be fun, barring injury. Just pray there's no injuries. That team is going to be so fun to watch every week, whether they win or lose. It's going to be fun,
yeah,
and
Fangio.
you got to potentially score 30 points to beat them,
yeah.
like that.
And because their defense is so good, it's not going to be easy to
No,
do.
it's not.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah,
So yeah, that's you know, ooh, yeah, that's a whole nother another animal right there. And like I said, we don't give that defense enough credit. You got a 4x100 relay team for your offense and your skill positions, but
that
you
defense
know
could play.
the defense can play, and they don't get the credit. They just don't get the credit that they deserve on it. It's like,
Bradley
hey
Chubb,
man,
he found new life in Miami.
yeah, it's like,
Fangio.
yeah, it's but yes, I know because he's beating the tables talking about fan. We're gonna address it. Yes, Big Fangio is a whole dog.
As a defensive coordinator, I've said it so many times. Fangio is one of the best defensive coordinators right
Big
now,
sport,
and
big sport.
and a lot of defensive minded coaches on all levels, whether it's high school, college, or professional, are doing a lot of the stuff that he's doing. They are
Yeah, I
doing a
mean,
lot of the stuff
he's
he's doing.
he's the modern day Wade Phillips. Like you wouldn't make
Yes,
him a head
yes,
coach,
yes. Thank you,
but
thank
as
you.
a coordinator, he's excellent.
He's
Oh
he's
my goodness.
he's fantastic. So, but Dolphins fans, the defense doesn't get a lot of credit, but the defense and right now it's the Dolphins' division to lose. And I think that
For sure.
when the Dolphins watched Aaron Rodgers go down, they was like,
It's us.
it was
It
it. That was
is.
it. Yeah, that was it. They were like, "Shh, we got this joker now." So yeah, man. I just I like the fans winning against the Pats going away. I'm looking for Mac Jones to probably throw a pick in this game.
Maybe
Um,
two.
maybe two. Yeah.
But even if
And
it's not two picks, it's probably two turnovers.
he'll probably fumble. But yeah, give me the fans over the Pats in that one. But last two games, I have the Saints over the Panthers
Yeah.
because
Yes.
let's be honest. Again, the class of the NFC South is New Orleans right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
they
Panthers
struggled a
know
little
they're
bit.
building.
They struggled a little bit with Tennessee, which they shouldn't have. They should have skull drug Tennessee, but I think that's opening week jitters or whatever like that. But they gonna handle the Panthers. That
And
defense is too good. If
man, my
nothing
heart.
else, yeah. If nothing else, the defense is they're gonna do the thing. So
I was I was gonna say my heart goes out to J.C. Horn, Joe Horton's son. He just can't catch a break with these injuries, man. I
Oh,
mean,
he's hurt again.
he would be a premier corner, like up there with the Patrick Sertans and all of them in this league.
Well,
he
he
just
came
can't
out the
catch
same
it.
year as Patrick Surtain.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, but he
He's
can't
part of
stay
that class.
healthy.
That's
He
sad.
can't stay healthy. It's heartbreaking. 'Cause I think they say he's gonna be out for a few weeks again. It's just he can't stay healthy
which leaves Derek Carr to kind of take advantage of that.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So Raiders fans, you're gonna miss Derek Carr. I mean, me and Tristan keep telling you,
Yep.
honey, you're gonna miss Derek Carr. Wait till about week 8 or 9. You're gonna be
Yep.
ready. You're gonna be throwing darts at Jimmy Garoppolo's pictures in your house. I'm telling you,
Yep.
you're gonna be burning him in effigy. I'm serious. Um, but yeah, so moving last game. Browns versus the Steelers. This is another pick'em game. I was
Man.
really impressed with how well the Browns defense
Hey,
played.
look,
And I was really disappointed in how the Steelers played.
Yeah.
look. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Jim Schwartz running that Browns defense. If he keeps running that defense that way, I don't know how the offense looked against Cincinnati, but if they can get anything, if that defense stay consistent the entire season, and they get anything out of Deshaun Watson to Amari Cooper and to whoever else, Nick Chubb running back, I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs. They could possibly fight. They might not fight for number 7 because the AFC is just too deep. But they could change the trajectory of some of these teams in the AFC when it comes
Yeah.
to playoff chances.
Yeah, they're gonna break some cities' hearts
Yeah, they
for
are.
sure.
Play
If,
spoiler.
yeah, they could. Yeah, that's what they could be. They could be a spoiler alert type team. You don't want to take Cleveland lightly.
So with that being said, I got the Browns going into Pittsburgh and beating the Steelers. Um,
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are gonna play better than they played last week.
Thank you, Eric.
Um, I think they're gonna play better, but not. Kenny Pickett is gonna be seeing another defense that's gonna be in his face. They're
Yes,
gonna be capitalizing on everything he throws. I mean, Kenny Pickett threw 2 picks against San Francisco, and then if you watch that game, it was probably 4. So 2 of them weren't caught. So it was that bad. Um, but I really think the Browns are going to pull away. Nick Chubb is going to probably run roughshod. Uh, Amari Cooper, Patrick Peterson covered Amari Cooper.
oh God.
Patrick Peterson, please retire and don't talk no more and retire.
I was the first person to say that this past Sunday. I said Patrick
Okay.
Peterson need to retire.
For those of y'all who don't know, Patrick Peterson the week before was talking about how he was going to pick out Brock Purdy and how San Francisco's offense was so predictable. And I'm gonna let y'all know when I get my pick on Sunday. Not only did he not get a pick, but he got beat for 2 touchdowns by Brandon Ayuk. Then got ran over for a 3rd touchdown by Christian McCaffrey at the goal line.
Amari Cooper is going to just route him to death, man.
He's going to break his ankles. He's going to be like, give me your ankles. I'm going to put these in my pocket, and you need to go sit on the couch, sir. So
Basically, Patrick Peterson going to be like, George, he went that way.
right. So yeah, when you're a 33-year-old corner, I don't care what you've done in your career. You just need to be quiet and play. Yeah. So fortunately, he won't give teams bulletin board material anymore. I think he learned his lesson from Brandon. Y'all better pay me this year, Ayuk. I got the Browns over the Steelers. So to recap my picks, give me the Eagles over the Vikings. Give me the Packers over the Falcons. Give me the Bills over the Raiders. Give me the Bengals over the Ravens. Give me the Lions over the Seahawks. Chargers over Titans. Bears over Bucks. Chiefs over Jaguars. Texans over Colts. Niners over Rams. Cardinals over Giants. Jesus. Oh, that's bad. I just had a nasty taste in my mouth when I talked about the Giants and the Cardinals. That's just how bad they are. My Stone Cold lock is the Cowboys over the Jets. The Broncos over the Commanders. That might be a squeaker. Give me the Dolphins over the Patriots, the Saints over the Panthers, and the Browns over the Steelers. And like I said before, I'm not always right, but I'm more right than I'm wrong.
All right, now before we close out the show, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to say that there was a NFL record set this past weekend. We have 14 black starting quarterbacks that started this past weekend. Um,
I was definitely about to mention that. Nice job, Brandon.
we had Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, amongst others starting. I think that's a very big weekend. We have come a long ways. Um, I'm not going. I'm not going to go real. I'm not going to go long winded on this, but there's a black quarterback behind Terry Bradshaw in the '70s, up to Randall Cunningham and Warren Moon in the '80s. I'm not going to name every single quarterback in the '90s and 2000. Now, Michael Vick was the first black quarterback to be drafted #1 overall, and when he's drafted by the Falcons in 2001. But I will say that we have definitely, and I mean definitely, come a long ways to have 14 starting black quarterbacks this past weekend.
I mean,
And
it's incredible.
yeah, it's definitely incredible. The one thing I still want to see, and this is just me personally, I still want to see a black quarterback stay on one team his entire career, have a Hall of Fame career, but also have one Hall of Fame, at least one Hall of Fame receiver with him that whole time. We'll see what happens in the future, but that's still my wish moving forward. But
Could be Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr.
hey, it could happen. We never know. You never know. But yeah, that was definitely a huge weekend. So shout out to all 14 quarterbacks that played this past weekend, and was like I said, we'll see what happens moving forward.
And
Ladies,
also
go ahead.
with it going with the top five. Remember in the draft, having two black quarterbacks go within the top five of the draft. It might happen again this coming draft. So
So it happened this past draft. Who are the two?
the
Bryce
Bryce
Young and
Bryce
Young and
Young, LJ,
CJ
and
Stroud.
who?
CJ
CJ
Stroud.
Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
Yep, sure was. Okay.
Yep. And I might, and like I said, it might happen again
So,
because Caleb's coming out. You got Mike Penix. You got a few black quarterbacks that are coming out next year that are very
well,
good.
then you know what? That
Shador.
might be a different kind of record too, because then you're looking at the most black quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Yep. Shador Sanders. I said it right this time, Eric. Shador Sanders. He's coming. He's coming out.
Shador.
Yeah. And he
Dude's
deserves to
name is
have his name.
Shooter.
He
Shooter.
deserves to have his name pronounced correctly because that man is balling.
Yes, he is. So, like I said, we've come a long ways, and I can't wait to see what happens more in the future.
Proud of my people.
The
For the culture.
only thing, yeah, no, and yes, Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl MVP. Thank you, Titus.
Grambling's finest.
Gremlin's finest. Throw
Respect
up
the
that
G.
G, Pando. Throw up that G. But
Even though we trashed this year, but let me stop.
and
God.
and hold on. And Doug Williams donated money to the football field for Northwestern University. I mean,
Northwestern High School.
Northwestern High School, the school that Tristan graduated from. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wish I could play on that field.
anyway, but thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, for spending the time again another week with us. We are currently live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, IG, and TikTok. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Tristan handles that. That's why I call him the quarterback of this thing. Well, I already said it. He's the wrong direction. He's the quarterback that runs this thing. That's Trish TV. Down below, Panel 316, the Angry 8 and 8 guy. We'll see what happens next week.
I'm not always right, but
He's
I'm
more
all
right than he's wrong. Let's get it. Let's get it. And then Coach Williams right here, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, the NFL Encyclopedia. I said Keyshawn Johnson was drafted in 96.
I
Good night, ladies and
don't
gentlemen.
argue with Brandon about that stuff, man.
You did. Hey, listen. A dead clock is right twice a day. It's okay.
That's my line.
All right, y'all be breezy. Peace.